Hello, puppies and kittens. Welcome to another episode of Reading Joseph Smith. And yes, we have Shannon wearing a new do since she's joined the Rastafarian religion, and we
Oh God.
Bryce Blankenagel, Gazela Mali, and one last burning ember.
Yes, yes. Just so you all know, my hair was thinning too much up top, so I shaved it all off this week. But the problem is that it's very white and delightsome. So when the light hits it, I look like I have a halo, and I was like, I really don't want to identify with Mormonism quite that much anymore. Yeah. So you get a scarf.
Okay. Anybody else got any opening comments? I'm guessing no. Okay.
We're just all excited to go, Aaron.
Yep. Well, let's jump into it. We're doing Mosiah. What was it? 16?
23.
Yeah,
23.
I did want to recap with last week a little bit because we have
All right.
Rusty Nelson is the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and that chapter was kind of his nightmare because we had actual Mormons in the land of Mormon having Mormon milkshakes in the Fountain of Mormon. So that was pretty amazing. Win for Satan on that one.
Yeah, and now we've got in the news. There's the Crickets of Mormon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
They're here. The people just don't have enough faith for bringing those fucking seagulls yet.
no seagull
God.
faith.
Maybe if they pay
right, so
their
we-
tithing, like Lorenzo Snow says, the seagulls will come. Yeah.
Anyone
So now we're
watching
on-
who
we're on-
doesn't have a Mormon background is like, what the fuck is going on?
What are you talking about? I know. There's these crickets that descended on the Salt Lake Valley around the. It was when they planted everything. You know, they had the things growing here just after all the Mormons showed up here, and it's a common occurrence. This wasn't like, oh my God, you know, Mormons are there. Satan needs to send something. It's, you know, people think it's something else. But these crickets came, and then what happens is the seagulls come and they eat the crickets, and they'll eat up a bunch, throw them up, come back and eat more. And that's actually a very common natural thing that happens here. But Mormons turned it into a faith thing because, you know, the saints were
Miracle.
just like, we're going to lose our crops because the crickets are eating them all. And then, oh, we're praying, and the seagulls came. So now the joke is everywhere. Everybody's like, oh, their faith isn't strong enough. Nobody's paying enough tithing, you know, because the
And-
crickets are back.
And
But
for
they
that
actually
reason,
are,
the-
right. They're actually
California
called Mormon
seagull.
crickets. Yeah.
the California seagull is a state bird because of this story.
I know.
Yeah.
And so, which is really funny in and of itself because seagulls normally are a seaside bird, but they are here everywhere.
Oh, there
Here.
you have salt water.
Yeah, we have salt
Lot of it.
water.
Great Salt Lake.
Really,
so we're
really,
looking
really
at that-
salty.
We're looking at Mosiah 23, and I want to read the forward on this one. It says, Alma refuses to be king. He serves as high priest because apparently religion has more power than politics.
Yep.
The Lord chastens his people, and the Lamanites conquer the land of Amulon, and then Amulon, leader of King Noah's wicked priests, because is there any other kind,
Mhm.
rules subject to Lamanite monarch. And this is all of this story is supposed to be placed around 145 to 121 BC.
Yes.
Did you say monarch?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
I'm out
Because
for
the
monarchy.
Lamanites have a king. And that's why Alma doesn't want to be one. It's because the Lamanites have one. The
Now,
Lamanites
I'm-
are the bad guys.
Now, this section, or where we're about to start in chapter 23, has a heading, and it says, an account of Alma and the people of the Lord who were driven into the wilderness by the people of King Noah. So are we jumping back in time? Like, we followed, I mean, the last few chapters, we followed the people escaping. They made the Lamanites drunk, and then they fled and got to Zarahemla to be subject to King Mosiah. So now are we like cutting back to the Lamanite side of that interaction? I don't
No,
Did
this
they
is the
actually
Alma
reach
side.
Zarahemla?
Well, this is the Alma side because Alma was one of the priests of Noah, but he was the one who actually listened to Abinadi. And so he led a group off. And so now you're getting Alma's story is what it is.
Okay. All right,
for
that
these
makes sense
just
then.
these 2 chapters.
And I have to show everybody something else. I mean, my wife gave me a let me have a reticulated python, so I had to let her have something she always wanted. Oh, boxer.
There we
Oh,
go.
boxer. Hey,
Oh,
buddy.
that's a big boy.
So,
He's gonna get big.
This is another rescue, and we're going to name him Borg 9. Borg 9. Because don't all boxers look like Ernest Borgnine? But it's spelled differently. It's spelled the same way as the Million Scoville pepper, Borg 9.
Ooh.
Oh, I thought it was
Very
like
nice.
a 7 of 9 is a Borg, so it was also a Trek reference.
Yeah,
Yes.
kind of.
It's a good Trek reference.
Mhm.
See, that's
Yep,
what I thought
yep.
it was too. Actually, is Borg 9. I went right straight to Star Trek.
Deep Space Nine.
Exactly.
Oh god.
All right, so who's reading today?
Am I first?
Well, I can read if you want to.
I don't really care. You can go first.
Okay. Now, Alma, having been warned of the Lord that the armies of King Noah would come upon them, and having made it known to his people, therefore, they gathered together their flocks, and took of their grain, and departed into the wilderness before the armies of King Noah. And the Lord did strengthen them, that the people of King Noah could not overtake them and destroy them. And they fled 8 days' journey into the wilderness. And they came to a land, yea, even a very beautiful and pleasant land, a land of pure water, which technically isn't called land.
I was thinking,
It's
I believe that's a
Waterworld.
lake.
We're in Water
But
World.
if you want to
Yay.
go to a land of pure water, I have some offshore property in Florida. I would be happy to sell you.
It was all filtered first before the water came. Yeah.
Now,
Got it.
speaking of which, this land of pure water, would it be salt water? Would it be like in Utah?
No.
Well, I reckon
Okay.
if they say pure water, they mean, fresh water,
Yeah.
sweet
Fresh
water.
water, of course.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they thought about Salt Lake until they tasted it, didn't they?
Yep. Yep.
Details.
And then they're like, oh, that other lake up south, that one's better. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of Mormons think this is still happening down in South America. The ones that like to try to place it all geographically. So where someplace where there's a very large lake in South America, I don't know. Yeah.
And
Okay.
I've already had it, and it came to pass in the 1930 version that was
Well,
taken out.
I was actually gonna point this out that I'm seeing removals of "and it came to pass there, and it came to pass there, and it came to pass
Yeah.
there." So right here, I mean, we have 3 "and it came to passes" that were removed from the manuscript.
So we have to
Rude.
comment on that because David Fitzgerald linked us all together on a little post where he mentioned that the phrase "and it came to pass" appeared in the original version, the unedited God's Word version of the Book of Mormon. This phrase appeared more than 1,000 times. And when Joe Smith was ridiculed for being so fucking repetitive, will you stop knocking the water over? I'm trying to broadcast. Jeez. So when Joe was ridiculed for this, he went back and edited God's Word
Mm-hmm.
to remove at least 100 of these 1,000 references. Because that's what you can do with the Word of God.
Here's
Of course.
3 of them right here. Yep.
Man
And how many
always
times
improves
have
on
we
God's
seen?
word.
How many times have we seen some human editor come in to comment to say what his infallible eminence meant to say was?
Yes.
And funny enough, the post that we were tagged in, it was actually posted by Dan Weiss that Fitz tagged us all. That's
This is the book. Yeah.
That's this book right here. He
Sweet.
wrote this book, this comparative. So if you want to find it, he is extremely active on Facebook, a defector of the faith. I think he still sells copies of this book.
I
It
love
is
that title,
unbelievably
Defector of the Faith.
Mhm.
That's brilliant.
Yes.
Okay, so I got a couple comments. So the Raven 200 offers $20 and says, "And it came to pass
Yeah. Yep.
that I, Alma, did spake unto thee, abracadabra, boom shakaday. I'm Violent J, and I'm back like a vertebrae, and I came with a hat full of tricks, trunk full of Fago." Wait, that's ICP crap.
Yeah.
And Levente Gunshi says, Aaron waiting for the Borg barks. Yeah, so far this one hasn't barked. Yeah, the other
Just
one
right.
the other one has a muzzle on at the moment because he's being an
Oh.
asshole. And we don't want any incidents
Mhm.
with the
So
new pup.
as an apologist, I wonder if Joseph Smith, with his prophetic knowledge, knew that we'd all be doing drinking games, and so he had it taken out. And it came to passes.
Yeah, he didn't want to actually kill anybody.
We
Nine
took
hundred
out
of them
just
survived.
enough to get everybody drunk because he liked to drink too. Yeah.
Okay, well, if anybody notices and it came to pass that was removed from here, please add it to the list anyway, since we know that God's unedited word, the unexpurgated version, would have had it.
That's right. All right.
Yeah.
There
So I'm
we
going to continue
go.
reading. And they pitched
And
their
it came to
tent.
pass. They
And
pitched
it came
their
to
tents.
pass.
I got you, boo.
And began to till the ground and began to build buildings. Yeah, they were industrious and did labor exceedingly. And the people were
And it came to pass. The people.
Oh my God.
fucking brilliant. And it came to pass that the people were desirous that Alma should be their king, for he was beloved by his people. But he said unto them, Behold, it is not expedient that we should have a king. For thus saith the Lord, ye shall not esteem one flesh above the other, or one man shall not think himself above another, unless they're white, I guess. Therefore, I say unto you, it is not expedient that ye should have a king. Nevertheless, if it were possible that ye could always have just men to be your kings, it would be well for you to have a king. Okay, I'll be your fucking king.
Fine, twist my arm, albeit.
Yeah, what am I going to do? Be president?
Absolute
Presidents can be
power.
replaced.
Yeah,
Give it
not
to
nearly
me.
as much money in that job.
Yeah.
Exactly. And sometimes you can even be put up on charges.
Oh.
Only if we're lucky.
Oh God.
But remember the iniquity of King Noah and his priests, and I myself was caught in a snare, but I paid her off. We don't have to worry about that anymore. And did many things which were abominable in the sight of the Lord. But $130,000 will quiet a lot of that shit, which caused me sore repentance. Nevertheless, after much tribulation, the Lord did hear my cries and did answer my prayers, and has made me an instrument in his hands. An organ in his hands, if you will.
Giggity.
So many of you have to a knowledge of his truth. Nevertheless, in this I do not glory, for I am unworthy to glory of myself.
See, they
So
always, this is when you know it's a really good high priest, prophet, whatever, is he's telling you, I am unworthy to glory in myself and all of these things I just told you I do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're gonna
So,
have to do all the glorying for me.
You need
Nobody's
to
more
glory me.
humble than me. I'm
I'm
the
the
most
most.
humble priest you have ever seen.
And if you really want to glory me, I have a special confession booth that I can stand in. And it's got a hole in the side.
Ah,
And
there
you
you
can
go.
glory me through that.
Oh,
Hmm.
no.
All this winning.
They did labor
Some
mightily,
of this-
or exceedingly.
Yeah, if some of the things that I say here may be from a different version of the Book of Mormon than the rest of you are reading.
Oh, I hear now.
It's the Jimmy.
And now I say unto you, ye have been oppressed by King Noah, and ye have been in bondage to him and his priests, and have been brought into iniquity by them. Therefore ye were bound with the bands of iniquity. And now, as ye have been delivered by the power of God out of those bonds, even out of the hands of King Noah and his people, and also from the bonds of iniquity, even so I desire that ye should stand fast in this liberty wherewith ye have been made free, and that ye trust no man to be a king over you. And also, trust no one to be your teacher, nor your minister, except he be a man of God, walking in his ways and keeping his commandments. Thus did Alma teach his people that every man should love his neighbor as himself, and there should be no contention among them. And now Alma was their high priest, he being the founder of their church. And it came to pass that none received authority to preach or to teach except by him from God. Therefore, he consecrated all their priests and all their teachers, and none were consecrated except that they were just men. Therefore, they did watch over their people, and they did nourish them with things pertaining to righteousness. And
Remember
it
what
came
watch
to
over
pass.
means, by the way.
Whoa,
Remember
we
what
gotta-
watch over means when you're talking Mormonism. Watch
Oh,
over
do tell.
doesn't mean we're being benevolent. It is we want to know every little thing that's going on in your life. This is why we send home teachers or ministers, as they like to call them now, around to your home, is to seek out all of those little secrets and terrible things you're doing.
Oh, Orwell was inspired, I see.
Yes.
And it came to pass, they began to prosper exceedingly in the land, and they called the land Helam.
All right.
And
Very
it came to pass.
odd
Huh?
edit that's made here from the original manuscript. This was originally Helaman. Now it is just Helam. So they literally changed the name of the city because there's a Helaman character later, and they're like, no, we don't want to be repetitive. So we're going to cut out "for and it came to passes" from this chapter, and we're going to change the name Helaman to Helam.
So that's
Another-
where they draw the line. Okay.
Yeah, we found it. We found the
I
line.
found it.
Never mind, everybody else has their own town.
Yeah.
Right.
What a ripoff. Poor
And there's
guy.
like 27 different land of Nephi's and all of those in here.
Pretty
Yeah.
much. Oh, and luckily for us, I turned to the next page. It remains consistently Helaman throughout it. So God really,
Wow.
really, was consistent in his fucking up.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Excellent.
not in here. So that's
He is perfect, you know.
And it came to pass that they did multiply and prosper exceedingly in the land of Helam. And they built a city, which they called the city of Helam, which in their
Everyone does.
language translates to Helamburg.
There you go. Helam oyster.
Nevertheless,
Okay.
nevertheless, the Lord seeth fit. It said seethe, right? Seethe.
I believe
It's
I believe
seeth.
they would pronounce it seeth in church, yeah.
Yes,
I'm
I'm sure
sure
to
they
see it.
would.
This Lord is seething with Helaman.
That's how you get a burning bush. He seethes, he rages, he angers, you know.
He does like to chasten his people, yes.
Okay, I'll do it your way. Nevertheless, the Lord seeth fit to chasten his people. Yeah, he trieth their patience and their faith, because he can be a bit like that sometimes, especially when he's had a few. Nevertheless, whosoever putteth his trust in him shall be lifted up in the last day. Yeah, and thus it was with his people. For behold,
the original one says patteth there instead of putteth, and I just like that visual a little bit more. Whosoever
Good humor.
patteth his trust.
for behold, I will show unto you that they were brought into bondage, and
Giggity.
none could deliver them but the Lord their God. Yeah, even the God of Abraham and Isaac and of Jacob. And it came to pass that he did deliver them, and he did show forth his mighty power unto them, and great were their rejoicings. Yay! For behold,
Hey, Alma, your
it
power's
came
showing.
to pass. What?
Hey, Alma, your power's showing. You want me to patteth it?
Only with consent.
You care to glory me? For behold, it came to pass that while they were in the land of Helam, yeah, in the city of Helam, while tilling the land round about, behold, an army of the Lamanites was in the borders of the land.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, it came to pass that the brethren of Alma fled from their fields and gathered themselves together in the city of Helam. And they were much frightened, because we speak English good, because of the appearance of the Lamanites. But Alma went forth.
Exceedingly frightened. That's usually how they say it in here.
Yeah.
But Alma went forth and stood among them and exhorted them that they should not be frightened, but that they should remember the Lord their God. He would deliver them. Therefore, they hushed their fears and began to cry to the Lord that he would soften the hearts of the Lamanites, that he would spare them and their wives and their children. And it came to pass that the Lord did soften the hearts of the Lamanites. And Alma and his brethren went forth and delivered themselves up into their hands, and the Lamanites took possession of the land of Helam.
Thanks,
Help
God.
me out here. Help me out here. So the people in Helam, they prayed to be saved. And God said, oh, you want me to save you? Yeah, I'll save you. I'll give your city to fucking Lamanites, asshole.
Right.
Am I reading that right?
Yes.
That's what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
And
They think they got saved because they weren't killed by the Lamanites. They figured being made slaves to the Lamanites was better than being killed by the Lamanites.
So they didn't even give God a chance to do anything. They just went up and freaking surrendered. They're like, here we are.
The king
Here we are.
first. Well, sorry, he's not a king. No,
No, he's
these
a high
people aren't allowed
priest.
to have a king. The high
No.
priest first. He's like, oh, my God's gonna save me. Oh, and I'm arrested. Damn it! I thought it was America.
Yeah.
Where's them damn seagulls when you need them?
Right. God damn it. Yeah.
By the way, I didn't say hello to Jimmy. Hello again, Jimmy. Sorry we missed you last week.
It's okay. You just hate me. You didn't miss me. You blocked me from coming on. I'm just trying to start shit. I got blocked, y'all. He said you're not welcome here. Something about Pride Month. I don't know. It was a dick move. What verse are we on?
Jimmy,
Oh,
allow me to
God.
be the first to say, fucketh thee.
Go bless thyself.
Came to pass, Aaron Ross seetheth.
Yeah. Seetheth harder. But really, what verse are we on?
We are. I think we're on 30.
30
Okay.
of
Oh, wow.
Now,
chapter 23.
Tight.
the armies of the Lamanites, which had followed after the people of King Limhi, had been lost in the wilderness for many days. They must have used, God as their guide, because that's what happens.
Right.
And
He
behold,
led Moses for 40 years. Yeah.
they had found those priests of King Noah in a place which they called Amulon. And they had begun to possess the land of Amulon and had begun to till the ground. Now, the name of the leader of those priests was
What? Guess,
Amulon.
guess. Everybody? Oh,
Yeah, sorry. Just say they went to the land of Hemel, and they called it Hemel, and even the city of Hemel. And then they had what was the other one from the previous chapter? They went to the land of, I don't know.
It was Mormon. The waters of Mormon. The land of Mormon.
The waters of Mormon, the jugs of Mormon, all of that shit. Yeah.
The sheep of Mormon.
yeah.
Yeah. And it came to pass that Amulon did plead with the Ammonites, and also send forth their wives, who were the daughters of the Lamanites, to plead with their brethren that they should not destroy their husbands.
Yeah. So just take note of what this is. This is all fine to Mormons. I remember this from in seminary being taught this. They sat there and they sent their wives to plead with the Lamanites. What exactly are they sending their wives to do? Promise to fuck them or let them fuck them if they kept their husbands safe. They prostituted their wives. This is okay with Mormons.
Scripture, paragon of moral insight, right here. The Word of God.
This is the way everyone should live.
That's right.
And the Lamanites had...
And it came to pass.
And the Lamanites had compassion on Amulon and his brethren, and did not destroy them because of their wives.
They like their wives. It has nothing fucking ever to do with compassion.
That's the power of God.
That's the
There's-
power of
there's the
Joseph
power of
Smith.
God.
This is how Joseph Smith
Love it.
was with the wives of other men.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They were purchasable.
And Amulon and his brethren did join the Lamanites. And they were traveling in the wilderness in search of the land of Nephi, when they discovered the land of Helam, which was possessed by Alma and his brethren. And it came to pass that the Lamanites promised unto Alma and his brethren that if they would show them the way which led to the land of Nephi, that they would grant unto them their lives and their liberty.
But it came to pass.
Yeah, but it came to pass.
God damn it, Joseph. He had to pad that word count somehow.
I haven't had a drink yet, but I'm feeling like I'm already there. My body needs to catch my mind right now. But after Alma had shown them the way that led to the land of Nephi, the Lamanites would not keep their promise. Psych!
Shock.
Fell for But they set guards round the land of Helam over Alma and his brethren. And the remainder of them went to the land of Nephi, and a part of them returned to the land of Helam, and also brought with them the wives and children and the guards who had been left in the land.
Go figure.
Now all mysteriously pregnant.
Go figure.
And the king of the Lamanites had granted unto Amulon that he should be a king and a ruler over his people who were in the land of Helam. Nevertheless, he should have no power to do anything contrary to the will of the king of the Lamanites, which means he's not really much of a king, is he?
No.
Sort
More
of
like
a
a
viceroy.
There you go.
Well, hello there. Yes.
Thus endeth chapter 23.
Okay.
And I had too
Feels
much
like
fun
a
reading
reread.
that. I did. I need somebody
Yes.
else to read the next one. We're going to move on to 24, if you would. And I do need some commentary to help clarify the shit I just read because it made no fucking sense to me.
So I kind of like the literary significance, how he starts off with, obey no king, blah, blah, blah. And then we end with, behold, a new king over you now newly re-enslaved people.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
That's Mormonism. Just remember this is Alma's story, and we're only getting 2 chapters of that until it comes back to everything else. But yeah, it's just them escaping from Noah, being chased by Noah, and you've got Noah and the Lamanites. They're all after him too, and then they're like, okay, fine. We won't fight you. Just make us your slaves. Don't kill us. And that's basically what just happened. That's all it was. Lamanites are there.
Please don't kill me. Fuck my wife. Please don't.
Yeah, exactly. And the priests, just remember these guys, Amulon and the others, the priests of Noah. This is a precursor for something else that's going to happen with them later that just still it pisses me off because this is Mormonism. But anyway.
Isn't Amulon a Roxy Music song? Amulon.
Probably.
Saw them in concert in the
Amulon.
80s.
Okay, so I'm going to read a couple more comments here. Zar Narankar says, so question. They edited out something in one spot and not in the others. Also, why bother with the edit when there's 10 chapters of the same name? It's confusing, though. It's confusing enough as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard to make up more names. It's not that hard to make up a different name for everybody. But Nephi is named, there's somebody named Nephi in here 28 times in the Book of Mormon. It's like, oh God, you really could come up with something else. So what does
And
he
it
do
was
when he comes up with
confusing.
something else? Anti-Nephi Lehites? Oh, let's just do that.
As a little kid, King Noah was really confusing. I remember my parents saying, "Oh, well, now this is the bad guy, King Noah, and then there's Noah, the good guy."
Right.
So.
Exactly. It's so stupid. Yeah.
And Mobile Game Reviewer says, and thus the Lord seeth and moldeth and copeth when the atheists destroyed his already imaginary existence. Like that.
And there was
You're
much
welcome.
wailing and gnashing of teeth.
Yes.
Then Mojo says, is there Islamic theology in Mormonism? You have pre-existing souls thing in Islam and Mormonism, but do you have more?
Yes. The Ensign in the 90s established that Muhammad was an actual prophet and that he met with not God, but the angel Gabriel, and that the Quran was corrupted by man, or maybe Muhammad was, but it actually was God's attempt at restoring the gospel before, and it failed.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
no idea about that revelation.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
That's kind of fascinating. Okay, so Joseph Smith tried to appropriate Muhammad.
No, not Joseph Smith. We're talking about we're talking like 20 years ago is when this came
Yeah.
in.
But
Oh,
didn't-
really?
Bryce,
ensign.
what was it that Joseph Smith said about Muhammad?
I mean, people called him the Mormon Muhammad because Muhammad is a warlord. But they were referring when they coined that nickname for him. It was when he was literally inciting a civil war. So
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
but yeah, there are some things that are like tangentially similar. But like
Supposedly he liked the term though.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like the promise of virgins after death. Obviously, Mormon heaven is all about fucking. So I mean that bears a resemblance as well.
Yeah.
The Raven 200 offers $5 and says, it's always nice to see everyone enjoying themselves here. Jimmy, go board the Sardom on its way to Port Batavia in 1628. Anybody know what the hell that means?
Oh, I wasn't even listening, so nope.
I'd have.
I
to
assume this is
Google on
a
that
ship that sank or something to that effect. They're delicately or masterfully historically telling you to go fuck yourself.
I'm gonna seem less attentive than usual, which is already weird, but I'm trying to simultaneously get everybody on the same page for. I have a bunch of creators who are supposed to be sending me videos for this charity event on Saturday, and everybody has seemed to have forgotten. So I'm currently trying to coordinate with like 30.
Yeah, I'm
people.
trying to do it, but the link apparently a Forrest told me I have to be in desktop mode on my phone, which is not even a thing I understand. Old men and technology. So once this show is done, I will try to go figure out how to do that.
I would just do it from your computer.
For real.
But it's on my. But I've recorded both of them on my phone because you gave me a thing that my phone has to scan in order to be able to get to the web page to upload
Well,
it.
no, there's a link too. There's a link and the thing to scan. But yeah, no, whatever you want. I can help you out after.
right.
But if you want to send it to me a way you know how to send it easily, I can move it myself too. That was just the piece of paper that you have seen was sent to like 100 people.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll chat about that after.
Probably
Because
like
this
20
isn't
people,
making
and
a
I'm
good show.
exaggerating.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Everybody come to our charity event on Saturday. We're trying to raise $25,000 for recovering from religion. And if you don't donate, you'll go to hell. Oh, fuck. We don't do that. Shit.
Curses.
Well, the world will be less good. That's really that's really it.
The Mormons
Right,
will
so-
take over if you don't donate.
That's right. We
it.
actually have to sell this
That's hell.
stream to the church. The show you're watching now, we have to sell to the Mormon church if you don't all donate $25,000 by Saturday collectively.
Each.
And I want to
Which would
post
be
a
great.
short about that. Can it be the same short that I'm going to be sending you? Can I upload that as well?
If it makes sense, I feel like there was some guides in that where it says like check out the link on this channel or something like that. That might not make sense, but honestly, as far as promoting from your own channel, do whatever your heart tells you. But everybody should at least share it, and we should definitely put the link to it in the description of this episode.
All right, you give me the link that I
also.
need, and I'll upload it I'll give you that short, and I'll also upload it to my channel.
Tight. Hey, has anybody tried this Grimace birthday shake from McDonald's? Anybody?
And
What the fuck are we
what?
talking
Try-
about now? This is supposed to be
What?
Book of Mormon. What are we doing?
All right, I put the link in the live chat to the event. If I could just go everywhere. I don't know. I'm thinking
No.
about. I'm starving, but I'm sick, so I'm trying to throw up whatever it is. And I
So
thought
your
it might
ADD
be.
is just like throwing everything.
Ronald McDomers.
Excuse me.
Ronald McDomers.
I have the superior condition, autism. I only said that to piss
sorry.
people off.
ADHD?
I'm an autistic.
Yeah, I'm only putting up with
supremacist.
this because I showed everybody my dog. So that's the only reason I'm allowing you this aside.
I'm trying to think about what to eat because I'm starving, but I've been sick, like deathly sick for the last couple of weeks. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to throw it up. And I thought it might be fun to have purple throw up. That's all. That's the only reason I was asking.
You are so much fun to have as a host.
Thanks.
I mean,
Okay, so let me read comments. Mark
At least I
Smith.
remember what show I'm on. Sorry, I had to. By the way, you remember that you're doing a show tomorrow with Professor Dave,
I am.
right?
Hey, I promoted it.
Fuck yeah.
You should have seen it on Twitter.
Hell
I did.
yeah.
I did do a tweet for that earlier today. I'm going to be on Skep Talk with Professor Dave Farina tomorrow, and I invited people. Hey, you got a question? You got an argument? call up. Live call-in show. Call it in. So Mark Smith offers $5 and says, I certainly miss your hot self and your spot-on impersonations. You are a god among men. I don't know. Does he mean Jimmy here? I don't know.
Sure.
I think you're
I
talking
once again, I was not
me.
listening. What?
All my
All right, now I understand why everybody
God
tells you to
damn
go
it,
fuck
Jimmy.
yourself. Okay.
I'm trying.
Zarnar Carr
My brain
says,
can
when
only
it comes
follow
to
so many
prostituting
things.
wives, in the Bible, didn't Abraham do the same thing with his wife just because he didn't want to offend Pharaoh? Pharaoh was confused by this action also. Yeah, I mean, didn't he do the? Am I getting this confused with another story? Or isn't that the one with, hey, don't tell him your wife, tell him you're my sister.
Yeah,
and then,
you're
hey,
my sister. That's the same
Yeah,
one.
hey, mister, you want to fuck my sister?
Because you're so beautiful, they'll just kill me and take you. But if I say you're my sister, then they'll let me live. Because it matters most that I live.
It's not even the best fucking joke, or not joke, story of like terrible story. Isn't that
What?
right next to the story where they
Where Job's daughters get him drunk and then go fuck him?
No, that one's good too. Was it
That's
Job?
Lot, right?
That was I was to say that's Lot's daughters.
Lot's daughters, sorry,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
Job.
No,
Yeah.
my favorite one is the one where the mob is coming to kill some
Lot
or to
again.
rape the daughter, and he's like,
No,
wait.
they're coming to rape they want the angels, and they said
They're angels.
Lot sends his daughters out.
I think I'm on a different rape story. They come
There's
come
so
to
many.
rape stories all over in
Yeah,
there.
they
so-
come to an end and they want to rape somebody, and he gives them, instead of the person they were trying to rape, his hooker. And in
and
the
then they
morning,
draw and
she's
quarter
dead
her?
on the doorstep, and he's like, "Oh, I'm mad that they killed my hooker. So to show them, I'm gonna cut her into pieces and mail her to
Yeah.
places."
I can't remember who that was.
Wow, you
Yeah.
showed them. Fucking
Yeah.
Christ, what a book! And that's not banned in schools.
No.
Well, it is in Davis County.
It is in Utah. Yeah.
That's right.
Now they're trying to get the Book of Mormon banned.
I hope they do. Fuck, I hope so.
Well, they have to because
So-
it follows the rules, but
Yeah.
of what has
So-
to be banned, which is why these people are doing it. All right.
Mark Smith offers $5 and says, Gazalem doesn't look just like Tom Petty. He sounds like him.
Yeah. Every time you sing.
I'll tell you this: I've never seen Gazalem and Tom Petty in the same place at the same time.
Fair
And then Dan Phillips offers $10 and says, Dear Aaron, thank you for your debunking Hovind science series. Videos like those will make it easier for me to not fall for the same lies and ignorance that my dad did as a kid. Love, Baby Sawyer. Thank you so very much for that.
Those
All
are
right.
the kind of things you love hearing.
Indeed.
what
This
color my
is
throat
honestly
should
what
be.
keeps me going. I mean, yes, I've managed to find a situation where this is my full-time gig and this is how I make my living. But honestly, the thing that keeps me doing this is that I've been getting, for years before I got $1 out of this kind of activism, I was getting a whole lot of thank you mail. I mean, shut up. And I got several messages like that, several of them, like dozens of messages like that just in the last 24 hours. Kid you not. Will you guys
Did you ever-
stop barking?
Did you ever get
Shut the fuck
unsolicited
up.
nudes in the mail? Because I have.
Jesus.
I've gotten
Christ.
Polaroids.
Aren't they unsolicited
Do
for
Polaroids
you,
even
though?
I have never publicly asked. Quite the opposite. I
Publicly?
usually say a nude is not a hello. Well, look, yes, publicly, because internally, if somebody sent like a tremendous nude, am I going to look at it, or I'm not going to set it on fire right away? But no, I've said don't say hello with a nude. I've said the opposite. Yeah, I get unsolicited digital nudes. That's just a fucking common thing. At a certain point, people are just showing you their butthole because they hate you. But
It's just part of being on the internet.
I've received Polaroids to my PO box of which
Wow.
what an escalation.
Okay. All right. So
Onwards.
Dan Phillips offers $10 and says, yep, I just read this one. Okay, let me go
Yes.
to Mojo is the next one. It says, did you know there are people who believe Quran was originally a Christian text or a Judeo-Christian text? Quran was in Umayyad times and Ahadiths in Abbasid times, so maybe true. Well, what I know about that is that we had this schism at the Nicene Convention where you had the atheists, or excuse me, you had Arius and Irenaeus, and they're arguing about whether Jesus is the personification, like the physical manifestation of God, or whether Jesus is a prophet of God and a created being. And so the guy who said that Jesus is not actually God, but is just a prophet of God, was punched in the face, legend has it, by Santa Claus. Not even kidding.
Saint Nicholas. Yes.
That Santa Claus's counter argument was to punch the guy in the face. So yeah, Merry Christmas. Here's a knuckle sandwich.
Lump of coal.
Not even kidding. That's part of the legend for this. But anyway, the guy got kicked out. He got kicked out of, what was it, Constantinople? I think I may be confusing this, but he went into exile in Medina, and Islam arose in Medina within 200 years later. So there is a strong correlation to the origin of Islam out of Christology.
That's fascinating. I've heard a different take on events. Nothing to do with the councils, but that the original followers of Jesus remained Jews with some slightly heretical beliefs. Paul ran around and spread his version of Christianity, while the Christian Jews continued to do their thing, and they were there for a few hundred years until finally the local government was like, we've had enough of these heretics, and ran them off into the desert. And then about 100 years later, the Muslims came riding back out of the desert talking about Jesus.
Yes, exactly. So Executee, I love that name. Executee offers $5 and says, I love you, Rice Blanket Navel. You are a fountain of knowledge. Tell Fitz I miss his cats, please. Thank you much for doing this, Aaron.
Thank you, Execute.
I suspect there's a number of secret messages in that.
Here.
So much code.
That is, I am happy to admit that is the first time that has been my name has been done that to. So wow, it's not very often that I hear new ones, and that is thank you, Blanket People. Nice.
And then Trevor and Wright says, how similar is Mormonism to other Christian literature?
Literature or sects?
Yeah, because those are two different things. There's similarities, but Mormons like to see themselves as separate, as peculiar people, and they have all the truth. The others only have parts of it. So Mormonism took Christianity and then made it a little bit more. And so that's really the similarity, I would think.
Yeah.
Trust in my words, you'll simply agree I'm different as can be.
Yes.
I really don't.
There goes our
understand
Tom Petty comparison.
I don't get why people aren't as alarmed about the future of the U.S. when you think about what. I don't think he was even doing it necessarily deliberately. I think it was just the themes of his times. But Joseph Smith created the most American patriotic form of Christianity.
Yeah.
And that no one is worried that that's the next step for the fucking conservatives in America. No one's even thinking that that could like explode as a fad of the most. We took Jesus, made him white with a reason for him to be white, that he's basically fully uncursed, and brought him to America. Fuck yeah, buy some guns. I think Mormonism is going to surge hugely in popularity as soon as the church realizes they can't satisfy as soon as the church realizes they can't satisfy the people who want them to become more progressive. I think they're going to double down on the other side, and they're going to pick up a ton of American support.
So the Mormons are going to finally start. The Mormons are going to finally start marketing the idea of Jesus riding a velociraptor carrying an AR-15.
But like
Probably.
that's the raptor part's a little bit silly, but other than that, you're fine. Yeah. Like it's not going to be a raptor; it's going to be a unicorn or whatever the two fucking fake animals in the
tapir.
It's like,
yeah, that's
the
right.
return of Jesus, and this time it's personal.
I resent Mormonism for making tapirs a joke to me, because tapirs are actually awesome.
Oh,
They're
they're
such a cool animal, and yet they're so stupid because of
Resent Dan
Mormonism.
Peterson, not.
Yeah, it's Dan's fault.
Fucking Dan! God damn it, Dan!
All right, so who's reading Mosiah 24?
I'll do it to contribute something before the purple throw up ammunition shows up.
Good plan.
I seriously I don't know, man. I almost blogged or started sending like videos from my bed this week. Y'all don't know about the week I've been through. It was terrible. Anyway, here we go. Chapter 24.
Yes.
And it came to pass that Amulon did gain favor in the eyes of the king of the Lamanites. Therefore, the king of the Lamanites granted unto him and his brethren that they should be appointed teachers over his people, yea, even over the people who were in the land of Shemlon, and in the land of Shelom, and in the land of Amulon. For the Lamanites had taken possession of all these lands. Therefore, the king of the Lamanites had appointed kings over these lands. And now the name of the king of the Lamanites was Laman. No idea where he got it. Very original. Very original.
Recycling these.
Being called after the name of his father, and therefore was called King Laman. And he was king over a numerous people, not just one person. This guy had at least 2 or more subjects. And he appointed teachers of the brethren of Amulon in every land, which was possessed by his people. And thus the language of Nephi began to be taught among all the people of the Lamanites. And they
So
were
I have a
people-
question really quick on that, because if Babylon is when the language is changed,
Yes,
No, Babel.
then
Babel.
Babel, then at that point, that's when languages started to evolve, because now we have 2 languages that have evolved separately in the Americas, at least, right? And it had nothing to do with Babel.
Yeah, but
Right.
when you
Babel.
were Mormon, did you feel like you could make any of these arguments work, or did you just say Tower of Babel and move on?
Yes.
Like, I don't even
I
remember.
know, that's
Well,
what I'm
yeah,
saying.
Yeah.
It's like,
You didn't really talk about that much. I mean, all that had to do with anything in Mormonism that you actually talked about were the people, the brother of
Jaredites.
Jared and all the
Jaredites.
Jaredites and all of that shit. But it was just a reason for them to sail to the Americas. You didn't talk about anything else with that. And so, yeah.
By the way, Jaredites far and away the stupidest name of all the peoples of names of groups of people.
I'm sorry. You say
They eat fresh,
Jaredites
though.
is the worst when we have access to things like the anti-Nephi Lehites.
Yes, that's monumentally.
the
they're the
Jaredites are
best. I
stupider than
love the
that?
I know.
anti-Nephi Lehites.
And the
Jared, that's
anti-Nephi
not the same
Lehis
level-
are not even bad guys. They're
I'm
good
sorry for
guys.
anyone named Jared in the audience, but Jared is such a monumentally boring name. They may have been called the Toddies or the Chadmeisters. Chadmeisters might be cool.
Well,
Jared,
fuck.
just a
The
stupid
leader,
name.
the brother of Jared, according to Joseph Smith, his actual name was Mahanrai Moriancover.
Yeah,
Why
I
didn't
always
they
forget
use
it.
that?
Yeah,
That's a
Great
better
name.
name.
yeah. They literally were just like, this is too many M's. People are gonna realize we're
It's
joking.
too long a name.
You
is
can't
what
put
it
that
is.
many
They broke
M's
the
in
key
one
on the
word
typewriter.
before somebody's like,
Yeah.
how do we turn the
Mori-
word into a name? It's
Change the
Morianconite.
language.
And they were a people friendly with one another. I don't remember what accent exactly I was doing before. So now here's Southern Alex Jones. And they were a people friendly with one another. Nevertheless, they knew not God. Neither did the brethren of Amulon teach them anything concerning the Lord their God. Neither the law of Moses, nor did they teach them the words of Abinadi. But they taught them that they should keep their record, and they might write one to another. And thus the Lamanites began to increase in riches, and began to trade one with another, and wax great. Wax on, wax off, wax great, I say, and began to be a cunning and wise people. Jimmy almost misread the word cunning. As to the wisdom of the world, a very cunning people, delighting in all manner of wickedness and plunder, except it were those among their brethren, except it were their own brethren. What the fuck? And now it came to pass that Amulon began to exercise authority over Alma and his brethren, and
And
began
Alma
to
did say,
prosecute him.
"You done messed up, Amulon."
You fucking messed up, bro. And cause that his children should persecute their children. Someone trying to say something? For Amulon knew Alma, and he had been one of the kings of priests, and that it was he that believed the words of Abinadi, and was driven out before the king, and therefore he was wroth with him, no longer ceased, just wrath. For he was subject to King Laman, yet he exercised authority over them, and put tasks upon them, and put taskmasters over them. Ooh, excuse me. And it came to pass that so great were their afflictions that they began to cry mightily to God. And Amulon
And
commanded
it came to
them.
pass, Amulon commanded.
And
This one
Amulon.
says-
Oh, is this one of the ones that was cut out?
Yep.
Yep.
We
Yeah.
have like 3 coming up here. Yeah.
Well, Amulon commanded them that they should stop their cries, and he put guards over them to watch them, that whoever should be found calling upon God should be put to death. And Alma and his people did not raise their voices to the Lord their God, but did pour out their hearts unto him, and he did know the thoughts of their hearts. And it came to pass that the voice of the Lord came unto them in their affliction, saying, lift up your heads and be of good comfort. This is the voice of God, by the way. For I know of the covenant which ye have made unto me, and I will covenant with my people and deliver them out of bondage. And I will also ease the burdens which I put upon your shoulders, that even you cannot feel them upon your backs, even while you're in bondage. And this will I do, that ye may stand as witness for me hereafter, and that ye may know of a surety that I, the Lord God, do visit my people in their affliction. If anybody is casting for voice actors, I am willing to do the voice of God for your picture. Just letting you know that now.
Noted.
And it came to pass that the burdens which were laid upon Alma and his brethren were made light. Yeah, the Lord did strengthen them, that they could bear up their burdens with ease, and they did submit cheerfully and with patience to all the will of the Lord. And it came to pass. Oh, my food's here. I gotta go. All right, somebody to pull up there. I'm gonna go grab my purple garbage.
All right, what verse did he end on? Because I was reading comments. 16. Okay, good. And it came to pass that it was so great was their faith and their patience, and the voice of the Lord came upon him, saying, be of good comfort, for on the morrow we will deliver you out of bondage. And he said unto Alma, thou shalt go before his people, and I will go with thee and deliver the people out of bondage. And now it came to pass that Alma and his people, the nighttime, gathered their flocks together, and also of the grain. Yeah, even the nighttime, they were gathering their flocks together. And in the morning, the Lord came to deep sleep to come upon the Lamanites. Yeah, and their taskmasters were in a profound sleep. And Alma and his people departed into the wilderness, and they had traveled all day. They pitched their tents in the valley, and they called upon the valley Alma because he led their way out of the wilderness. Yeah. And in the valley of Alma, they poured out their thanks to God because he had been merciful to them and erased their burdens, and eased their burdens, and had delivered them out of bondage. For they were in bondage, and none could deliver them except that it were the Lord their God. And they gave thanks to God. Yeah. All them and all their women and all their children that could speak lifted their voices and praised to God. And it turned all the frogs gay. And now the Lord said unto Alma, haste thee, and get thee and these people out of the land, because the Lamanites have awakened and do pursue thee. Therefore, get thee out of this land, and I will stop the Lamanites in their valley, that they will come no further in pursuit of this people. And it came to pass that they departed out of the valley and took their journey into the wilderness. And after they had been in the wilderness for 12 days, they arrived in the land of Zarahemla, and King Mosiah also received them with joy, because he was gay as the frog.
So that was kind of fucked up. They go first, they deliver themselves into slavery,
Yes.
and then God is like, hey, I can free you from slavery again if you go do this thing. They go, they flee to the valley, they name the valley after Alma, but they thank God for the deliverance, and then God immediately says, get the fuck out of this valley that you just set up shop in.
Because God's a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, all of this is, I mean, this, I'm like, I read this and I think, whoever it was who came up with the script for the movie Saw read this. Yeah.
It's possible. It's,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it beats
Okay, I'm gonna read
Scientology.
a couple of comments here. Mark Smith offers $2 and says, not a raptor, referring back to Jesus riding on a velociraptor, not a raptor, but a giganotosaurus.
There you go.
And then Mobile Game Reviewer, which, by the way, those are African, so it wouldn't make any sense why it would be in the United States. The United States famously has T-Rex. It's going to have to be a Tyrannosaurus. We don't import Giganotosaurus here.
Is that
But-
like a Gigantosaurus?
These are Jews with horses and steel, so why the
okay.
fuck not?
Okay.
Then Mobile Game Reviewer says, why is the raptor part insane? If the Mormons are young Earth creationists, then surely they can believe that Jesus could have ridden a velociraptor. And that, I like this name, Frankenstein, with
Well,
3
I'll tell you
E's.
this, though. Not all Mormons
Frankenstein.
are young Earth creationists. There's quite a few that are. They're slowly um, becoming fewer and fewer because people are paying attention to science more. But they don't think he needs a velociraptor because that would take away from his power to raise up and come down however he wants to. So he doesn't need to ride anything. It just be him. He's got that pillar of light thingy, you know.
I mean, if I'm going to ride a fucking dinosaur, it's not going to be a velociraptor. I'm going to have one of those giant, I'm going to have one of those big cabin kind of things that are on the back of one of these, like, you know, Ultrasaurus kind of thing, like a multi-bedroom estate on the back of this animal. That's what I would have. But anyway.
I want a pterodactyl because then I can fly.
Indeed.
Well,
so Frankenstein offers $4.99 and says, wanted to pitch in. I also wonder if Aaron considers the alien thing like the Messiah thing, eternal belief and wait without actual evidence. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. And then Mojo says, Jesus and Muhammad are on the throne at the right hand of God, I think. And Jesus and Muhammad are the prophet. Jesus and Muhammad or the prophet. Spirit where there were, let me read that again.
Where the prophet spirit were there.
And Jesus and Muhammad or the prophet spirit were there. Oh, so it's where, but it's misspelled. So it's were there before creation. What is Joseph to God? A pre-existing one?
Joseph did his best, but he really couldn't put himself too high. So he made himself the head of this dispensation. And so that's, you know, the beginning of when he became prophet. He's the head of that dispensation. Jesus is the head of the one that began when he was born. You have the different heads of dispensations, which is, you know, big, massive periods of time. And so that's the closest he came on that one. So he's up there like with the group there on the right hand of God, but not quite right next to him.
I feel like close. But didn't Joseph establish him as basically like the bailiff, and he can just send you to hell?
Brigham Young
you have to get past him.
Brigham Young did that. Yeah,
he's
Joseph is just, I mean, a lot of these things also got more strongly codified. There we go.
I was just looking at Gazalem's shirt. Show me that again.
Yeah. A majority of where Morton's salt comes from is the Great Salt Lake. They're the ones that harvest the most salt out of it. I should say the majority of the ones buying the salt from Great Salt Lake is Morton salt. So that's why that. But
y'all been enjoying the resurgence of the miracle of the gulls because of recent events?
You missed it. We were already talking about that before you showed up. That's what you get for being late.
God damn it!
You're tardy. So,
all right, I'm going to read some more comments. The Raven 200 offers $10 and says, I wouldn't be surprised if the Mormon church dove headfirst into pleasing the conspiracy theorist conservatives. I agree, Jimmy. Go take a flying blood scythe from Goyataro. I don't know. These complimentary insults are really inventive.
It's anime.
Yeah, people are. Yeah. Oh, okay.
What would I know about that? Okay.
Not a goddamn thing.
Yeah. Just don't open the folder marked hentai.
Well,
Elizabeth Reddick.
It's pronounced hentai, so I doubt there's one. It's pronounced hentai, so I doubt you have one.
Elizabeth Reddick says, magic is a form of religion, and is it untrue? Is magic a form of religion? Well, magic is the supernatural. The supernatural is magic. If it's magical, it's supernatural. It can be magical miracles or miraculous magic. It's the same thing.
There's magic in religions.
They may be referring to, there's also a tradition of magic and
with the
sects
K,
of quote unquote magicians. And it's...
Yeah.
In fact, I once had a Catholic woman call in to tell us to stop talking so degradingly about magic because she is a magician. And I was like, I got decks of cards all around. What are you talking about? This is terrible. Just so everyone knows, so gross.
I could have told you that before.
Okay, you didn't surprise anyone, Jimmy.
Their strawberry shakes are great. This is just supposed to be berry.
Fake. It's fake strawberry.
It's going to come out that color too.
Strawberry powder. Get a real strawberry.
I like Nesquik. Anyway, this is bad. This is a bad. It's not worth it.
Okay, yeah. Well, advice not needed. Zarnarankar says, Brother Jim, Cletus, good job reading the book, boy. There's a lot of bondage in this book also. I have no idea what's going on otherwise, though. Yeah, I'm having the same
None of us
problem.
do.
I read this thing and like, okay, so here's what we're going to do. God gives us now we have the enemies. A moment ago, it said that they couldn't follow us, but here they are. So they did follow us. So the book lied. And so we pray to God that he will protect us. And so what God says is give them their wives and children so that they can fuck them and then just submit yourselves to slavery and you'll be fine.
Right.
That's how God answers prayers, is it?
This is
he answered.
It's demonstrating faith in God no matter what happens. That's what this experience is supposed to demonstrate to Mormons. And that's how they read it. Yeah.
Okay. And then Mojo says Isaiah, Isis, Hosea, Horus, Mosiah, Moses.
Sure, why the fuck not?
Yep, take another token, see if you get any more wisdom out of that.
It's
Then Shadow Freddy Fazbear, what a great name.
Excellent.
Isn't Velociraptor way smarter than they are depicted in movies, specifically
Smaller?
the Jurassic franchise?
Yes.
No.
What, you know,
Well, yeah,
I wouldn't
but
say so. I'm sorry. The Velociraptors in the Jurassic Park franchise understand English.
that's the real issue.
Everybody here is extremely wrong because you're all missing one thing. You think that because you don't remember that Chris Evans, and this is a fact, Chris Pratt, sorry, and this is a fact, he's only 4'9".
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's a fact. So you're all wrong.
That
There
does
we
change
go.
the scale a bit, yeah.
The crispy rat is 4'9". He's a very tall rat.
Rat. What was he, a rat? What?
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt?
He's the crispy rat.
I've never heard this.
Yes, you have.
So when he plays
The crispy
alongside
rat?
Rocket, when
Yeah.
Chris Pratt plays alongside Rocket, they have to put Pratt on a box.
They just
Rocket Raccoon
CGI
is
him
several
bigger.
feet behind.
It's always forced perspective.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
By the way, Jeff Goldblum this is also true. He's an alpaca. It's not even a
Yeah.
person. So
That
there we go.
explains a lot.
y'all learn a lot knowing me.
God. And I have to go. So I will see you all next week.
Bye,
All right,
Shannon.
Shannon.
Toodles.
Bye.
Sorry we
sure.
lost you. Was it something
Yeah.
we said?
It's just you didn't let me read. So I was like, fine. No, it's not that. I actually have to go. Sorry.
I was
Okay,
saying, did I do
bye.
this?
Yes, it's you, Jimmy. I'm leaving because you came. Yeah.
It's
got
usually
it.
me. Is it because I didn't know Chris Pratt was a tall rat or whatever he said?
Have you ever heard that? Every
No.
time I hear his name, I hear Crisp Rat. I don't hear Chris Pratt.
Oh, Chris Pratt.
But
So
I
just
fully
call him the
understand.
Crispy Rat.
Got it.
I fully understand that you're leaving because Jimmy came. I've heard that from lots of people.
Yeah,
Well,
he keeps
it's time to
pitching his
go.
tent.
When that
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, usually
Yes.
because I'm kicking the person out. I'm
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
I don't need you anymore.
Ah, that's it.
Okay.
Anyway,
so-
bye everybody.
Thank you very much,
Toodles.
Shannon. All right. So Shadow
Arn-
Freddy Fazbear, what a great
Arn,
name.
before you go to
Isn't
the next one.
Velociraptor way smaller than they are depicted in movies? Hold on, I
Arn-
didn't finish it.
Yeah, but
Specifically the Jurassic Park franchise. So how would anybody besides probably children be able to ride a Velociraptor? Yeah, they were like the size of turkeys. The
Whoa,
Velociraptor,
okay.
the actual Velociraptor was the size of turkeys. There were other ones, like the ones we see in the Jurassic Park franchise. Those are actually Utah Raptors. Much bigger variety.
Are y'all trying to tell me I couldn't ride a turkey if I really wanted to?
I mean, you could.
I'm
sit
sure
on
you
a
have
turkey.
ridden a few turkeys in your life.
Goddamn right. I've been ridden
The
by a few
Raven
turkeys.
200 offers $5 and says, so Aaron, Gyataro is pronounced Gyutaro. He's a demon who weaponizes his own blood with a pair of sickles. His blood is also quite poisonous. He
Maledict.
weaponizes his blood with a pair of sickles.
He's from a show called Demon Slayer, I think. I think Peter had.
Oh,
something
okay.
to
Because
say.
the only one I'd ever seen using the pair of sickles was the wolf who was fighting the cat. Nobody gets that. Never mind.
Nope.
Nope. Peter, what were you trying to say?
Oh, I was trying to help the message before. He said he meant smaller, not smarter, but Arn got it already, so no longer necessary.
So are we now on 25?
Let's see. We did finish. Yes, 25 because
Yes.
we finished the last one.
All right, who wants to read 25?
I can.
I would, but I'm lost. So.
Yeah, I was trying to ask you what page we're on in the old one, and I'm trying to find it as well for like the past 10 minutes, and I can't find where we are. It doesn't. It's,
You don't
keep
know where
looking for
Mosiah
it.
25 is?
I think we're somewhere between. I think this is somewhere in like the end.
It's
of
right
chapter
between
11 or
24 and
something.
26.
Yeah, I mean, normally, but this is Mormon shit. Everything's weird.
We're in chapter 11 right now.
Could
It's
someone
chapter
read
11.
it in the
I'm
form of
sorry
a
about your
sea shanty?
bankruptcy.
I can
like
try
it.
for a pirate accent, but I don't know if I can make it a shanty.
And now King Mosiah caused that all the. No, go ahead. Shut up, Tomer.
if you don't like how we're doing it, get in here and do it yourself.
Goddamn right.
I mean, literally every paragraph is, and it came to pass, and it came to pass. Now it came to pass,
Awesome.
and now the Lord.
And
Crazy.
there are like 3 or 4 in every single paragraph too.
Yeah, and they're inside
It's
the paragraph.
so bad. This chapter is really, or these few chapters are really bad.
Fantastic. And now King Mosiah caused all the people should be gathered together. And now there were not so many of the children of Nephi, or so many of those who were descendants of Nephi, as there were the people of Zarahemla, who...
Sorry, I'm just pretending to be your parrot.
Well, thank you. Who was a descendant of Mulek, and those who came with him into the wilderness. And there were not so many of the people of Nephi and of the people of Zarahemla as there were of the Lamanites. Yea, they were not half so numerous. And now all the people of Nephi were assembled together, and also all the people of Zarahemla, and they were gathered together in 2 bodies. That's starting to hurt my throat. And it came
All
to
right, then,
pass.
what verse are you on? Let me just take over from
5.
there. 5. And it came to pass that Mosiah did read and caused to be read the records of Zenith to his people. And yea, they read the records of the people of Zenith from the time they'd left the land of Zarahemla until they returned again.
Arn, I think he was just saying he couldn't do the pirate voice anymore. Not that he didn't want to keep reading. I think he was just trying to not
Although,
be a
in
pirate.
fairness, Arn has the proper hat.
That's true.
He got his hat.
That's true. I suspect
Aye,
Arn has
I just-
a whole crate of costumes that we could pretty much put any. Arn, if I needed you to be a ninja, how long do you think it
Take
would
a
take to
minute.
put that together? Yeah, but not
All the way
long.
on the other side of the house
Yeah. Well,
Well, you could just
Yeah.
turn off the camera.
with
He
with
did-
the Viking stuff.
he did come as an Ubisoft style assassin to his first episode of.
Yes,
Skeptalk.
yes.
Yeah.
The inaugural Skeptalk.
His inaugural Skeptalk. I believe the inaugural was Forrest and Shannon.
Oh.
As well it should be.
They are my favorites. Sorry, Arn.
All right, no worries. And he also read the account of Amla to his brethren and to their afflictions from the time they left the land of Zarahemla until they returned again. And now, when Mosiah had made an end of reading his records, his people who tarried in the land were struck with wonder and amazement, for they knew not what to think. For when they beheld those they had delivered out of bondage, they were filled with exceedingly great joy. And again, when they thought their brethren who had been slain by the Lamanites were filled with sorrow, and even shed many tears of sorrow. And again, when they thought the immediate goodness of God and the power of delivering Alma and his brethren out of the hand of the Lamanites and of bondage, they did raise their voices and give thanks to God. And someone else is going to have to read from here because I have a fucking
That's what I
dog
said.
who won't stop barking.
We're
Whose
playing hot
dog is
potato with this
trolling
one.
them?
Damn dog.
Here there be Mormons.
Avasti lovers.
Yeah. Ember, you want to take it back?
Sure. Where the hell were we?
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
And I'm horrifically distracted here, unable to follow along because I am trying so hard to find a simple infographic that charts the people and everything that's happening and all the names and all that. That's a problem when it's such a mess of a fucking book that it's impossible to make a simple infographic of how the storyline goes.
I can't stop getting distracted that the sun has identified you as the Holy Grail.
I'm enjoying this.
What is going on? You got a window open?
You have
Monday.
chosen
You're getting
poorly.
blasted.
The window or the sun's just about to go down. So
Ah,
a
good stuff.
vanishing problem.
Here, I'll make mine worse.
And again, when they thought upon the Lamanites, which was their
there's-
brother, and is that where we are?
It could be. I just skipped back in. I just skipped back in the video on YouTube to see what the hell Aaron said last. But there's so much repetition, I can't tell one verse from the next.
I know, it's really messed up.
Let's just call it 10. It'll be fine.
10 sounds right.
All right, I gotta read a comment from the Raven 200 because ducking out. So offers $10 and says, I have a family barbecue I have to get to. So can we stop?
You're under attack,
What are you
matey.
gonna be doing, dog?
So I'm going to dip out now, but just know this is always a blast to watch. Jimmy, go take a final flash from Super Saiyan Vegeta.
Damn. That's intense.
I got you back. I got you covered. You know I
Thank
got
you.
you, baby. Excuse me.
All right, continue reading, please.
What if
Oh,
there's
yeah,
no-
let me
you
go ahead
missed-
and knock these other ones out.
Arn, you missed one just above that comment.
Yeah,
What if
gotcha.
we skip verse
Zarnar and
9
Gar
and
says,
on
Arin
verse
playing with a
9
knife and a pirate hat reminds me of my nephew when he was 3.
Well, there is
I
a
feel
famous
bad for
there's a
you.
famous video of you cutting yourself on a video on your channel.
Yeah, I remember
Ever.
that.
But if you haven't worn a pirate hat since you were a child, that's a you problem, guy.
For real.
Jesus
Everybody
Christ.
should do
Live
at least
a little.
at least on Talk Like a Pirate Day. Come on. Now.
Go make a paper pirate hat, you asshole.
I
Fuck
have a
you.
collection of silly hats.
I'm just gonna get more and more mad at the one chatter over it. Just escalate it, start threatening his family. What if we skip verse 9 and it turns out that's where the proof was?
Oh no.
Oh,
One more comment to read. Venan Sharpclaw 999 says, I love you so much, Arin Ra. You are an inspiration to me in my life. You have opened my mind to the concept of life and what it really means. I'm so happy to catch your stream. Thanks again.
I just wish Tomer was around to tell us which
Here.
verse we left off on, but unfortunately he's not. So
I haven't finished my commentary.
Actually, Tomer is here, and he says it's verse 11.
no, it's too bad. It's too bad. Verse 9.
It's
I know, I
11.
saw the chat. That was the point.
Brilliant.
Gotta love it.
It is funny that that Tomer so often is, please get back on track, and then we try to get back on track, and he's like, I have 7 more commentaries, you assholes. He's right. By the way, he's in the right on that, not me. I'm just saying it's funny. Anyway, fuck yourself, Tomer. Which, as you know, is a compliment in my world.
Yep.
Yes, yes. And again, when they thought upon the Lamanites, who were their brethren, of their sinful and polluted state, they were filled with pain and anguish for the welfare of their souls. And it came to pass.
No, you started at 11. That's
That's
some
what
pro-Tomer
Tom-
propaganda. We were starting at 9 to spite him. What the fuck? God damn it. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm bad at my job. What can
I'm
I
going to
say?
take another sip of this terrible shake.
It's a solid plan.
It's poison.
bad.
Must finish eating.
I'm kind of embracing that I'm sick, and so I'm trying to bulk it up, but so it doesn't
That's
come out.
because
all
you're a
out.
man. I've noticed that's how we are when we get sick rarely,
Yeah.
and so we really want to play it up. I just make the most of it.
No. First of all, I don't get sick rarely. I'm sick almost every day, but I've been really sick lately. And throwing up when you don't have much in you means that you either throw up too much solid, and then you get to bile, and it's the most repulsive flavor. It's
yeah.
worse than throwing up food. So I'm just trying to prevent that from happening.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bile is the worst.
I get sick like crazy, but that's because I'm a sickly person. But this last couple of weeks were real bad. Anyway,
Oof.
everybody feel sorry for me. Send $10.
Donate to the Patreon.
No, donate to the fundraiser. That's what we need.
Ah, yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna look like shit if we don't break that fucking.
Which, by the way, I
25K.
need to include a link in here.
Yes, I sent it in the private chat tab on.
Thank you.
It was a while back. Let me see if I can find it. And send
Yeah,
it again.
it's a ways up
It's
there.
up
but
here. I'll get
it's
it.
there.
I got it.
Yeah.
I resent it anyway.
Oh, well. There we go then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll make sure to pin that on my thing too.
Just listening to
Put it
the
on your
current
thing.
tone of the conversation, would
Yes.
people like to hear my opinion of the weather this week? I just while we're making such interesting content, would you all like to hear about the weather?
Yes, where are the damn
Why the fuck
seagulls?
not? It's not like we're doing anything else.
Dude, have you fucking seen the weather this week though? What's your forecast look like, Aaron?
I haven't looked.
105 on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'm that
Well,
today.
Oof.
I have a motorcycle. My only modes of transport at the moment. I have a motorcycle and I have a Jeep with no doors or roof.
I
So,
experienced a heat
cool.
burst for the first time this week. I've never heard of these things. I don't know if anybody else has, but it was like 2 a.m. and suddenly it got super windy outside. So I went outside and the still air was 80 degrees and we were getting blasted by these heavy breezes of 100 to 110 degrees in the middle of the night. And it's called a
That's
heat
crazy.
burst. And it's the energy that's released from a decaying thunderstorm that only happens in certain. Never experienced it before in my life. Fucking crazy.
It's one of the reasons that I love living in Texas, especially living in Dallas area. When I was in my 20s, I remember when the first time I moved out here, I remember roaring down the road. I'm on the freeway, going through downtown Dallas at like 1 o'clock in the morning. It's well over 100 degrees, and I didn't have a t-shirt on or anything. I just had a leather vest, otherwise bare chested, and going 100 miles an hour. There's no traffic. It's 1 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday, and it's like over 100, and it feels like being in both a sauna and a jacuzzi at the same time. And I thought that was just a groovy feeling.
It's fucking, the weather here is weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, here are my 5 favorite rainy days. Number 5.
What are we even doing anymore?
Isn't that what we're all trying to figure out?
September 18th, 2006.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Oh my God. I'm going to channel Tomer. Can we finish?
Tomer wants to
I'm
finish.
dying.
Giggity.
I love it in the chat. I'm so angry now.
Yeah,
Tomer.
I
Got that
feel
energy,
you,
bro.
Tomer.
Okay. Let's try to channel
I brought
Tomer and get
photos.
back on topic, please.
All right. 12. And it came to pass that those who were the children of Amulon and his brethren, who had taken to wife the daughters of the Lamanites, who were displeased with the conduct of their fathers, they would no longer be called by the names of their fathers. Therefore they took upon themselves the names of Nephi, because there aren't a fucking enough of them already, that they might be called by the children of Nephi, and be numbered among those who were called Nephites. And now all the people of Zarahemla were numbered with the Nephites, and this because the kingdom had been conferred upon none but those who were descendants of Nephi. And now it came to pass that when Mosiah had made an end of speaking and reading to the people, he desired that Alma should also speak to the people. And Alma did
And it came
speak.
to pass.
And it came to pass.
Ah.
Yep.
And it came to pass, Alma did speak unto them, when they were assembled together in large bodies, and he went from one body to another, preaching unto the people repentance and faith on the Lord. And when he did exhort the people of Limhi and his brethren, all those that had been delivered out of bondage, that they should remember that it was the Lord that did deliver them. And it came to pass that after Alma had taught the people many things, and had made an end of speaking to them, that King Limhi was desirous that he might be baptized, and also his people were desirous that they might be baptized also. Therefore, Alma did go forth into the water, and did baptize them. Yea, he did baptize them after the manner he did his brethren in the waters
In
of
the
Mormon.
waters of Mormon.
Yea, and as
In the
many
waters of Mormon, money.
down by the
In the
water.
waters of Mormon, baby.
That's right.
And as many as he did baptize did belong to the church of God, and this because of their belief on the words of Alma. And it came to pass that King Mosiah granted unto Alma that he might establish churches throughout all the land of Zarahemla, and gave him power to ordain priests and teachers over every church.
Hang on. So I just had this thought occur to me. Didn't Alma just like preach like before they integrated into Zarahemla and all became Nephites? Didn't Alma just tell all of his followers that they would not be ruled by a king, that it wasn't just to be ruled by a king, and now they're all subservient to King Mosiah?
Sure did. In fact, he made quite a speech out of the fact that ordination of priests and teachers can only come from God. But okay.
Well, I'm confused as to how all of these prophecies fail within a single chapter of a work of fiction.
Right?
It's a special skill. Joseph forgot to plot out his narrative arc, you see.
Yeah.
It came to pass could be like a long time. We don't know how much time is coming to pass. here.
That's true. That's true. It could have been a century. People lived longer back then, you know. 20. Now this was done because there were so many people that they could not all be governed by one teacher, neither could they all hear the word of God in one assembly. Therefore, they did assemble themselves together into into different bodies, being called churches, every church having their priests and their teachers, and every priest preaching the word according as it was delivered to him by the mouth of Alma. That sounds dirty. And thus, notwithstanding there being many churches, they were all one church, yea, even the church of God, for there was nothing preached in all the churches except it were repentance and faith in God. And now there were 7 churches in the land of Zarahemla, and it came to pass that whosoever were desirous to take upon them the name of Christ or of God, they did join the churches of God. And they were called the people of God, and the Lord did pour out his Spirit upon them, and they were blessed and prospered in the land. And then happily ever after, I assume.
Sure is a good thing that they bought their way out of a battle with the Lamanites with prostituting out all of their wives, or else they couldn't be blessed and prospered. So
yeah, it worked out well for everyone.
Yep, the sacrifices
Apparently.
of many.
You know, we're awfully hard on these people for making their wives do that, but we kind of read into that. How do we know that it wasn't their idea?
Hey, I know everybody was worried, and this is one of those things where you have to interrupt a stream to let everyone know that this has happened. But I just want to make sure everyone who was worried that today on Father's Day, Ben Shapiro did make his one joke. So in case anybody was worried, am I the only one aware of this as a meme? God damn it, I ruin everything I do. He said, happy non-birthing secondary legal guardian of unspecified gender day. He makes that joke on every Father and Mother's Day for the years. And I just wanted to make sure everyone knew he did it again. I'm going to go kill myself. Bye.
Awesome.
Appropriate response, Ember.
I mean, I feel seen.
Any fathers here? Ember and Aaron?
Yep. Yeah, I've got a bunch of Father's Day messages.
Congrats,
from people
you came, and I guess we'll revere you for it. Here's a fucking holiday.
Yeah.
I was about to say that I got Father's Day wishes from people that I'm not their actual father, but I knew them when they were kids, and they look up to me, and that's very nice. You know, somebody that
it's such a stupid holiday that just celebrates fathers, but not good fathers. Like, I'm still expected to do something for my father. No, fuck you. Fuck you and your fucking faces. I think
It's a very subjective thing, you know.
these holidays are fucking whack. Holidays in general.
I
are
got a
whack.
couple of comments today. I got word from people that I didn't realize how I don't know. It's just somebody when I was already an adult and when I met and they're adults too, and I know they're kids, but when they look to me as somebody that was like formative when they were young, that's quite a compliment, I think.
Yeah,
So.
I think so. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice when you're not even their dad and they think to say, hey, you were a big part of my upbringing and happy Father's Day.
Oh my God.
I'm
If
moved.
anybody ever sends me that, I'm going to roast the fuck out of them. I'm sorry you ended up so fucked up. What the fuck are you doing? You let me raise you, you fucking idiot.
They have to mature in order to learn better, right? You're showing them how to critically think about who they choose as their mentor.
Which reminds me, I'm having a conversation with my daughter a couple of days ago. Yeah, my mother is in the hospital, my 81-year-old mother, and my daughter and I are trying to work out what to do in her condition and all. And so I praised my daughter. So you're so responsible. How did that happen? Didn't come from my side of the family.
I had it just reminds jokes that or compliments that are accidentally insults. A few months ago, I had a friend over who I was wearing shorts, and she was like, if I only saw you from the waist down, I would think you were a bodybuilder. But, and then she stopped herself. And I was like, fuck you.
How dare.
I know I'm fat. Shut the fuck up.
Well, at least you don't skip leg day, I guess, huh?
I can't skip leg day. Keeping the upper half of my body up is a workout. I am.
That's fair.
all
I
my
learned a
weight is
thing
in
the
my
other
stomach.
day. As you know, various channels review Kent Hovind's old stuff for laughs and whatnot. And apparently he did this whole thing where he was explaining the fossil column and the geologic column by the pumping of tidal action, because the tidal bulge goes sideways apparently. So I ran with it. I figured out I'm not fat. I have a tidal bulge.
Word. June 8th, 2009 was my second favorite rainy day.
Has anyone seen that drawing that Joseph Smith did of the Earth, of what it was really shaped like? It's really weird. It looks like I thought it was from the Tanners, but it has that tidal bulge almost. Like it's not round. It looks more like a weird shaped plus sign or something,
Interesting. I haven't seen that.
But he said that's what the Earth was really shaped like.
I know that because we're an oblique spheroid that people will try to like we do bulge at the equator, but you might exaggerate the bulge. It's not.
This was really exaggerated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is Joseph Smith that drew it, so it's kind of weird that he would.
Well,
what a coincidence!
About a title.
I also bulge at the equator, but I don't exaggerate that bulge.
Yeah, for sure. Now I'm curious about the exact size of the tidal bulge. So or the equatorial bulge.
Can I remind us that we're supposed to be reading the Book of Mormon?
I mean, the next
is that what
chapter
we're here
is
for?
huge. So,
most of the words I've said are somewhere in the Book of Mormon.
All right, I'm going to read some comments here. Mark Smith offers $2 and says, Jimmy, or you get the dry heaves, which is worse?
Yeah, that's if I am sick when I wake up, I dry heave a lot for the first while, and it's very unpleasant and can cause hernias.
Hey. Then Zarnar Ankar says, how much to hire Aaron for my Shakespeare play? Those emotions he can express are perfect for every Shakespeare actor that dies, thinks, or is sad. Thank you. And then Zarnar Ankar adds, general comment, I genuinely don't feel as stupid anymore because of the fact that not just I am confused, but Aaron and others also, including people who study this in a scholarly way.
I really thought that was going to end with, I don't feel as stupid anymore now that I've been exposed to Jimmy, but it's fine. Go
Eric
one way with
Featherstone says, how about a shout out for the fathers that did not?
Oh,
Did
married
what?
into having kids?
Come?
Yeah, I think I needed to.
Come, I think, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know.
The non-fathers, the anti-fathers.
I don't think you got the whole thing. It says fathers who came and then did not.
And did
Yeah,
not.
gotcha.
So. I've flushed a lot of
Then-
potential kids. Billions, trillions. By
It's just most of them went down the shower drain.
I'm saying they've fucking
So I
The
learned
Vente
from-
Gunchi.
masturbating in the shower
Aaron.
is the craziest fucking thing to me. I've not done that since I was a kid, and because I was worried about people walking in my room. It's such a weird place to masturbate, in my opinion.
Aaron, the way we know the wives didn't have that idea is because they probably wouldn't be allowed to even have ideas.
Yeah, right.
Fair point. Fair point.
Yeah, I get that. And then Mark Smith offers $5 and says, Jimmy, happy Father's Day. I hope to emulate you if I ever choose to grow up.
I fucking hope you don't.
I'm having to look at that. Yeah, it was aimed at Jimmy. Though that sentiment really was aimed at Jimmy.
I mean, I am fucking killing it in every way. I'm just terribly unhappy. A guitar just fell somewhere upstairs. Did y'all hear it?
I did hear that.
That's the
Why would a
fucking-
guitar fall?
I don't know, because
It was right as Gazalem was pulling the dog over onto their lap, and I was like, where is it? You've
Yeah,
had
it
a
wasn't
guitar
me, though.
sitting in your lap this whole time, and we've been reading the Book of Mormon instead. Come on.
I need to
Maybe-
find it and make sure it's okay, BRB.
Maybe it's that
Okay.
El Kabong cartoon character after he did that Yosemite Sam voice earlier.
You're dating yourself, dude.
I'm the only
nobody
one
in
who
the
will.
audience remembers El Kabong. Eric, what?
Touche.
Yeah, my wife remembers Eric El Kabong. Eric, would you? Okay, Eric Featherstone, $10. Shout out to all the fathers who came and all the fathers who didn't. Step, foster, etc.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, there's
Thank
the
you for
whole
that
thing.
sentiment because I'm in both categories. I mean, I'm raising blended family. I mean, I have my own biological children, and then I also have the blended family with my wife's children, and I'm fathering them too, and I'm good with it. They don't have to necessarily be mine.
Mhm.
Always. Okay, so are we still reading?
I mean, if you wanna.
The next chapter
Yeah.
is huge, though. I mean, I'm just looking at it.
And
All right.
it's got more significance than the others.
So it's gonna be okay. So it's only 39 verses. That's not such a big deal, but there's going to be quite a lot of commentary on that.
I think so. Yeah.
I hope so. If Tomer shows up,
All right. Well, I will see if I can evoke him through the incantation necessary to conjure Tomer.
I don't think there's anything biblical. I mean, Tomer's welcome, but I don't think there's anything Tomer will feel compelled to.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to. He's not going to be able to cite any rabbis making commentary on this.
Tomer, you just gotta go meet with the missionaries this week.
Ask for a study guide.
That's right.
Some
It is crazy.
18-year-old kid.
Madsen has to say about Mosiah 26.
Hey, is Joseph Smith in Mormon lore resurrected? Someone brought that up the other day, and I feel like I vaguely remember he is supposed to already be like maybe even exalted by now.
Well, I don't think so because I mean, well, unless it happened post 1923, because that's the last time that his body was exhumed.
All right.
What? No,
Well,
I'm meaning in a sort of in a.
Okay,
Yeah,
so if
that's
you guys
right.
don't want to do the
I mean,
next
no,
chapter until
let's hash
Yeah, you're
this
right.
shit out, right? If
Doesn't
somebody
work.
is resurrected, their body can't be on fucking Earth anymore, right?
Right, but they also, I feel like they would also say like, well, all human bodies are made up of lots of other human bodies and the cells or whatever. So as long as they got like his penis, then it's fine. And so has anybody checked if his
Oof.
penis is still there?
That's a big oof.
Plus you can be resurrected from being cremated now.
So when the hell did Joseph Smith die?
1844.
Okay, so it is possible that they've got this idea of non-bodily resurrection by that point, because as you know, with early Christianity, there was no concept of the spirit being separate from the body. If you were going to resurrect, you had to resurrect with your whole body. But by the 1840s, the Fox sisters were already running around spreading the woo-woo of spiritualism. So they might have had the idea, and in fact, the Fox sisters started out not 20 miles from Joseph Smith's farm. There's a freaking historical marker. And so it's quite possible they had this idea of the spiritual resurrection without the bodily resurrection.
I mean, that's possible, but like, I don't see any interpretation of like the plan of salvation, plan of happiness, or whatever in D&C 76, or like the other parts in 43 where it would say that the spirit and the body are not somehow united as part of the resurrection. I think that's the whole point of the resurrection, is that the body is taken up and the spirit is reunited with it. But you in order to be resurrected, like, the physical body has to be part of that.
My grandpa wouldn't even donate his organs because he was so convinced he'd need them for the resurrection.
Right, but
Oh.
that's how my grandma felt. I feel like my grandma was similar when she was young, and then when she got closer to death, they were like, "No, I'm getting cremated. No one gives a fuck anymore." And then, like, even beyond the cremation thing, there's just the scientific revelation that we are literally made up of recycled materials. So every cell in your body has probably been in a few other people's bodies. Not every cell, but there's a lot of other people inside of you. And every drink of water you ever have has passed through at least 7 people. Just so you know.
And probably Hitler.
Y'all drinking pee-pee. Hitler's pee-pee.
That's why I only drink alcohol.
That's why I only drink my own pee.
And then Eric Featherstone says, shout out to all the fathers. When we read that one. Deviant Outcast. There we go. Says, wait. Do they periodically exhume Joseph Smith to check if he's resurrected yet?
I know that got resurrected.
I was wondering it, yeah.
The bodies of Hiram and Joseph Smith were in contention after they were assassinated, because it was kind of understood that whoever had control of the bodies had control of the church. So Emma, Joseph's first wife, and Brigham Young were embroiled in a fight over who was going to retain control of the bodies and therefore the church. So Emma had them interred in a secret location and then moved soon after and reinterred in a different secret location. Then interred in, I think, in the Nauvoo house. And then when the Battle of Nauvoo broke out, she fled Nauvoo and took the bodies with her to somewhere else in Illinois. And then when she came back, she brought the bodies with her and then interred them, buried them somewhere in Nauvoo. And then they were rediscovered in, I think, 1920. It was like 1920 or 1923 or something like that. And they were medically examined as well as interred in like a final permanent resting place. So those bodies have been in and out of the ground like 6 times since they died.
Adventures.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Weekend at Bernie's.
Would y'all want to infiltrate conspiracy Mormon zone with me, like the anti-vaxxers and QAnons, and let's start a conspiracy that Joseph actually has never died? He wasn't killed then. He's still alive now. We'll pick a couple.
You just
of
went to
prophets.
Argentina, right?
Yeah, that's where you go, right?
It's either that or Joseph Smith is working in a convenience store with Elvis somewhere in Tennessee.
No, I think we should pick some people and actually say, like, by the way, just so everybody knows, he had to lie, but Joseph and JFK, same person.
Oh, he's like one of those immortal dudes who has to change his identity every 60 years or so.
Joseph was actually one of the 3 Nephites.
Yeah, he was one of the 3 Nephites.
Yep.
So what you got here is a guy who's been creeping around since at least 1700, changing his name every so often, and then leaving all of his, pretending to die every so often, and then leaving all of his worldly possessions to kids who've been corpses for years. And assuming their
sort of zombie
identities.
Santa Claus. I think we could
Then
start this
Deviant
conspiracy.
Outcast offers another comment, says, a fight over Joseph Smith's body that made for quite the mental image. Mostly I hate my brain, but sometimes it's frigging awesome.
Yeah. Imagine what they look
travel
like
with
after 80 years, discovering them after 80 years interred. Well, and part of that like plays into the argument and the debate about the Joseph Smith picture, the Daguerreotype that was recently discovered, whether or not it is Joseph Smith, because well, so part of the line of reasoning, if it is indeed Joseph Smith, is that when comparing the brain or the pictures that they took of the skulls and of the faces in the 1920s, and comparing that to the Daguerreotype, some believe that the bodies were unfortunately, unwittingly switched, that when they reburied them, they buried Hiram thinking it was Joseph and Joseph thinking it was Hiram on the wrong side of Emma. So if they did mix up the bodies, then the the evidence that this specific person was presenting on an MHA is that it actually is the daguerreotype of Joseph Smith and not Hiram. So,
Kazalem, you sound like you're a hard no that it's not Joseph.
I'm a hard no just because I have enough respect for artists like the original artists. Those might look kind of folky, but people can do caricatures enough that there's no way. You look at the profile and things of like the Stuart Maudsley paintings and stuff. I don't think that. I think he looks too old too. I don't think he looks old. I think he looks too old to be Joseph Smith. But I don't know. And those lockets and things were very common style of locket. It's not because they say, well, this locket's in a photograph of one of Joseph Smith's daughters or something like that. I don't know. I just don't buy it.
All right. All right. So it sounds like we're done. I got to roll.
Done, but I've got 3 more rainy days to share.
Hey, it's Father's Day, and one of those kids that I am responsible for is also having a birthday today. So we're going to do a thing.
I like how we're ending early, and you're still acting like I'm taking up too much of your time. I'll just fucking goodbye. I'm out of here. Nah, it's not good. You should probably promote some stuff coming up this week, though, before you go.
What's that?
Said I bet you should. I think you should promote some things that are coming up this week, though, before you go.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, we are doing the telethon that Jimmy just mentioned. That's on the 24th, and we'll be the Unholy Trinity is going to end that show with a live call-in Q&A. So if you got an argument, you got a question, bring it. And it's going to be hosted by Jimmy Snow and by Dr. Daryl Ray and Shannon Q and Owen Morgan, the Telltale Atheist. We're trying to raise $25,000 for recovering from religion, which my friend Dr. Daryl Ray started. And they have they just in the last year alone, they've helped almost 9,000 clients from around the world recover from religion. So it's a live call-in center. You can talk to somebody on the phone. You can also have somebody that will communicate with you in chat, and they will help you with. These are people who are not only trained but also have personally experienced religion-related trauma, the types of things that we have to. Because we know people that have always been atheists. They don't understand what it was like to have been in this mindset. And so recovering from religion not only needs donations, but they also need volunteers to man the phones. And these are people that have lived through this experience and therefore can relate to it. And one of the things that they do to help is to get you, to advise you on how to maintain some relationships that you want to hold on to, but also how to break free of these the prohibitions and restrictions that have been applied to you your whole life culturally, so you can get on with your life and get out of those old restrictions and that sort of thing. But they can also hook you up with both on Zoom and in person to meetup groups and other networks of people, or even a qualified, vetted therapists, if that's necessary, to help you.
Therapists who I actually specialize to, because most therapists don't. Therapists who actually have experience with helping people recover from religious trauma. That's actually a rare quality, and they've got a whole database of them.
Indeed. So we're trying to help out that organization. That'll be 1 week from yesterday. So is it? Yeah, I believe it's Saturday, right, Jimmy?
Yep,
That's a Saturday. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now the links, which we will try to provide at the bottom of this video as soon as we're no longer live, and in the short that I'm going to make for it, and a lot of other promotional videos that are going to be upcoming. We will have the links so that you can make the donations early. As soon as you see the link, you can put your money in, and let's not wait till the last minute to see if we can do this. Jimmy would like to see if we can get up to 10,000 before this thing even begins, and I'd just like to see as much as can be done beforehand.
Yeah,
hell yeah,
absolutely, helping out people in need. That's awesome.
Yep. I got one more comment to read, and then we'll close up. This is Eric Featherstone says, if the bodies got swapped, it's going to give the angels hell when the resurrection comes about. Well, Joe, this is your grave. May not be your body inside, but them's the breaks.
Details.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very, very, very much, everybody that participated today. Good to see you all again. Welcome back, Jimmy. Missed you sincerely, and thanks all.